How you doing? When it comes to dog training, there is a lot more than learning the basics of how to sit and stay and come and all these things. They are important, but there's values and tips that you need to remember that will help with your training progress quicker and enjoy your training more, and not bringing in negative into your training. First, I want to talk to you about is tension running down the lead. What I mean by that is, often when you give a negative reinforcement to your dog, something that's done wrong, you give a correction, whether it be your voice or a small correction with a lead. It's easy to overdo it with a dog and not realizing that you are. This tension that you feel, this aggression, this annoy, whatever word you want to use, is running down the lead. You need to remember that when you give positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement, it needs to be to the time, but also we don't need to overdo it when it comes to a reprimand or even praise. We don't need to overdo it. It's to the second. So another example would be that when you know your dog is dog aggressive or aggressive towards people, the problem with this, where it starts, is you know this, and the tension you feel will run down your lead. Whether you hold the lead tighter or the dog picks up on your body language, they're very perceptive of that. So you need to be aware that what you feel runs down the lead. You need to try and stay relaxed with your dog training, no matter what the situation is. They will pick up on it, and it can have adverse effects to your training. If you're not in a good mood, you're not feeling good, my advice is don't train your dog. Train your dog when you're in a happy place. Make the dog enjoy it, so you enjoy it and you have a good, positive experience. Remember this, you don't want tension running down the lead. The next thing is train your dog on and off lead. I understand that when you start with your dog, if it doesn't come back or it has a lack of control, we need to start on a lead. But you really need to progress off lead as soon as you can in a controlled environment. Like I've said on my course, we don't go from here to out in a football field. We do it in a progression stage, successive approximations, little steps to get to our end goal. But it is important you do it off lead, because often dogs will be good on lead, and then as soon as they're off lead, you can't control. That could also be because you are giving negative reinforcement on lead. Now that dog, like I said, is very perceptive. So when you go to train your dog next time you pick up the lead, your dog has what we call an equipment association. It knows what that lead means, and you're not going to catch that dog, because it knows once you get it clipped on it, everything's negative. This is where it's very important that we time and we give plenty of positive reinforcement. We don't focus on the negative. We try and ignore the negative as much as possible and focus on the positive. Your dog enjoys it. So very quickly progress off lead in a controlled environment. So if you can't get your dog, you can at least go to it. But we want to teach this dog that it's a positive thing to train, and it needs to listen off lead as well as on lead. But remember that we don't want to develop negative equipment association for the training. This is very important, because like I said, you'll see next time you go to train your dog, pick up the lead and it will run off. So remember that, on and off lead in a very positive environment. Very, very important. Now, I spoke briefly then on timing of your reinforcements. Whether it be negative or positive, how you do it, whether it be a verbal reprimand, just with a voice, or a small correction through your lead, however you train your dog, the timing of this is imperative, and as well as the positive. It is down to like the half second. If you miss that opportunity, if your dog barks, bark, 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 and then it stops, and then you reprimand, the dog doesn't get it, doesn't understand it all. The timing has to be on, and that goes for everything. When you want your dog to sit, if you want to teach it operant conditioning, and as it sits, you want to teach it, connect the word sit with the sit, it has to be the second their bum hits the ground. If they sit, and then 5 seconds later you reward it, they'll take it. But they don't really connect with what it's for. You may think they do, but then you'll realize it doesn't really understand sit, because your timing's off. You have to time your reinforcements, be it positive or negative, to the time, right on time, and then no more than what you need. Focus on the timing of these things. It will help with your training a lot. Now the next thing is value of operant conditioning. I've explained in other videos. Classical conditioning is more on the lines of giving the command, enforcing the command, and it's fine. It's a good method of training, especially if a dog doesn't have a food drive at all. You might need to show it what you mean. Operant conditioning is a very good way, what I would call, to subtly train your dog. All you're doing is picking up on actions that your dog does naturally and rewarding it and introducing the command later. Best example normally would be when your dog comes up towards you and it sits automatically without you commanding it. You drop the word sit in there. Remember the timing. As it sits, you put the word sit in there, and eventually it connects, because as it goes down, bum hits the ground, you say sit, food goes in. Dogs are very smart to figure that out and go, well, every time I come up and I'm well behaved, I do this, I hear this word, and I get food. And they will learn to be conditioned on that. That's a form of operant conditioning. So you can go between operant and classical, but operant can be a great way to teach your dog toilet training. So when you see your dog go into the toilet in a particular spot, you add in the word toilet, whatever you choose. When it's doing that action, praise for that action, and before you know it, you can actually train your dog to go to the toilet on command, which is a very handy thing to have. So the value of operant conditioning is really, really important. Talking about value, the last one I want to talk about is the value of a stay. I believe stay, all commands are important, but stay is a great one to cross over to control of your dog. Reminded it who is in control. If you can deny it permission to chase anything, if you can build your dog up from a basic stay to not chasing a cat, a dog, a car, a bike, a ball, you have very good control of your dog. And then we want to build that though, where we have the stay and we obviously free the dog as a reward. We don't want to teach it that stay forever and then it's going to probably give up, and once it gets off, it's gone. We want to give the stay, let it play, do another stay, let it play. Remember that. We want to connect positive memories with the actions that you're teaching your dog. But remember the value of a stay. It is very, very good. Work on it, work on all your commands, but stay. Get that dog so it stays no matter what when you tell it to. So there's a few tips, there's a lot more that we can go over, but I just want to share these ones today in a quick video, and hopefully it can help you out, give you for reminders, a few tips and pointers that you can implement into your training and maybe help training down the track. Thanks very much for watching, and I do appreciate if you subscribe and share wherever you're watching this, tell others about it, hit the little like button, give me a subscribe, it is much appreciated. Thanks guys, bye.